From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Recovery mission continues today in East Lansdowne. 6 family members are presumed dead after a shooting and fire there, and neighbors are still left in disbelief.
Plus, President Biden angrily pushes back at a special counsel's report that questions his memory and his handling of classified documents. Why the president says both matters are now closed. Looking live outside at more clouds entering the picture today. We're warming up, but will we stay dry for the weekend? That's the question. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the news at 7, streaming on CBS News Philadelphia and on Philly 57. I'm Jim Donovan. And I'm Jan Carabeo in for Janelle Burrell. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to today, but let's start you off with the Next With forecast with meteorologist Kate Bilo. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Jan. Hey, Jim. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is a gloomy start to the day, but we warned you about this. We talked about this yesterday. It was going to start off kind of cloudy and then brighten up, and that still is the case. So we're going to get the clouds out of the way early, but not the prettiest sunrise, unfortunately. We had some color as the sun started to come up. It's rising as we speak right now, 7:01 this morning, and again, it's pretty overcast and gloomy. But not for long. Even by 8 or 9 a.m. we may start to see some breaks in the cloud cover to the west, and then we will end up with sunshine as the afternoon progresses. It is mild, though. You don't need the heavy coat as you step out the door. If you're getting ready to take the kids to the bus stop, you're leaving for work this morning, you can leave the gloves, the scarf, the hat at home. It is 41 already, or still, I should say. We really didn't drop much overnight in Philadelphia, and that is close to our average high for the time of year, which is 43 degrees. So you can see this front moving through, kind of a warm front progressing through the area, but already seeing some breaks in the cloud cover back toward Harrisburg, back into central Pennsylvania. Any sprinkles along that boundary have fizzled, and we are just seeing cloud cover this morning. We will eventually clear the clouds and end up with a beautiful day. Even the Poconos seeing those showers missing to the north around the Scranton area. So cloudy for now, but by 8 a.m. we may see some breaks of sun, and then starting at 11 a.m. and through the afternoon, it is sunny and beautiful. We are talking upper 50s today. We're gaining over 2 minutes of daylight every day right now, and so we've got a little bit longer to enjoy that sun today. Coming up, I'll break down the weekend, and we'll talk about a huge shift in the pattern and a system next week that could even bring snow to parts of the area. Chandler, I'll send it over to you.
We love to see it, and luckily we'll see the sunshine later on. Thank you, Kate. A bit gloomy, but at least visibility is not an issue as you travel out this morning. Schuylkill Expressway right near Belmont Ave. Take a look at this. It's super quiet. We're really not seeing any delays traveling both eastbound or westbound. No accidents, no construction to report. We'll check in on the travel times, reading about 16 minutes from the Blue Route down to the Vine on the Schuylkill East. That is really good for this time of the morning, and just as good on 95 as you travel southbound from the Bucks from Woodhaven Road down to Center City. It'll take you 17 minutes. One construction zone to note that we've seen throughout the work week here, Pottstown 422 westbound between Saratoga and Arm & Hammer Boulevard. Construction is here through the afternoon hours where one lane is blocked. And lastly, we'll check in on mass transit here. Riverline as well as the Northeast Corridor for New Jersey Transit back to normal, but we still have some crew shortage issues for 2 of SEPTA's trolleys, Jim.
Thank you, Chandler. Crews will return to this burned-out home in East Lansdowne today in hopes of recovering the bodies of 3 people still unaccounted for.
And yesterday, the Delaware County District Attorney announced the remains of 3 others were found among the rubble. CBS News Philadelphia's Jasmine Payu joins us live this morning from the scene with the latest on this investigation. Jasmine, good morning.
Jan, Jim, good morning. Officials described this recovery mission as gruesome. We know from the district attorney's office in Delaware County that 2 adults, a child, and a rifle were found in this rubble that you see behind me. Take a look at this. Now, we are currently on Lewis Street, and that police officer has been here all throughout the morning. First, it was a state trooper. Now it's an officer from the East Lansdowne Police Department. So here's the latest as the search continues for 3 family members who remain unaccounted for. We know federal, state, and local lawmakers toured the neighborhood Thursday afternoon as crews sifted through charred remains of the home. Officials say this all started Wednesday when police responded to a 911 call at the house. Investigators say 2 officers were shot when they arrived, and not long after, the house was set on fire. Cell phone video showing officers trying to help an injured officer as they took cover behind a van with their bulletproof shields. Prosecutors say it may never be known who the shooter was.
I didn't realize there were gunshots. I never expected there to be a shootout right outside of my house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
The community and everyone is feeling this, right? We were watching it live as it was happening, and our first responders were on scene, and you could see here, right, we have all levels of government here to support them.
heartbreaking for the community here. We know those 3 family members who remain unaccounted for. Officials say they are presumed to be dead. They say they may have to use dental records to identify the victims. This search expected to continue now that daylight is coming up. Jim, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jasmine, for that update. And as we were out in front of that burned out home in East Lansdowne, a woman named Chin Lee told us that she is the mother of the man who she says killed 5 other members of the family and then himself. She spoke with us through an interpreter and says Wednesday's incident all started with an argument.
According to her son arguing with the niece or the nephew or something, and suddenly he used a gun. He shot at least 6 people. Okay, 3 children, right? Yeah. 3 children. The sister-in-law, another guy, the brother, and then himself.
Did she tell you how they got out?
No, we don't know. Suddenly it happened so fast. Okay, nobody know what happening. Nobody know what happening. Suddenly he upset and he used a gun.
Do we know why he was upset? Do we know why he was upset?
Arguing with another small kid.
And we want to be clear, this is the woman's account of what she claims to have witnessed. The investigation is still ongoing. Meanwhile, one of the 2 injured officers has been released from the hospital. Chopper 3 was over Penn Presbyterian Medical Center as Lansdowne police officer David Chiazza headed home. He's a 22-year veteran of the force. Officials say he was shot in the leg. The second officer, 44-year-old John Meehan of East Lansdowne's police department, remains hospitalized. He's being treated for a gunshot wound to his arm.
Children and their teachers at nearby schools and daycares had to shelter in place while the chaos unfolded on Wednesday. Students at Vision Academy Charter School were in the process of dismissal when they heard gunshots. The principal says the school quickly went into lockdown and sent parents an alert within 5 minutes. They stayed in lockdown for 2 hours. A few blocks away, 40 children sheltered in place in the basement of Faith Emmanuel Lutheran Church and Daycare.
We closed the door and we waited to get some guidance. There was many sounds. Helicopter overhead, pop, 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 gun sound.
A few of them were crying, and some of them weren't sure why they were crying. Actually, this morning we made sure to have a community circle to field questions and to open discussion.
Both the daycare and the schools say they are thankful that they had already practiced shelter-in-place procedures with those children. And as new details emerge in the East Lansdowne investigation, we will continue to bring them to you both on TV and online. You can always get the latest anytime on CBSPhiladelphia.com.
In other news, President Biden is on the defensive after a special counsel report depicted his memory as poor, claiming he could not remember key life events. The report came after the special counsel decided not to prosecute the president over his handling of classified material. Here's CBS News correspondent Michael George.
After a year-long investigation, Special Counsel Robert Hur decided not to bring charges against President Biden over his handling of classified materials, which were found at his Delaware home and at his former D.C. office. But in his scathing 345-page report, Hur wrote that the president's actions posed, quote, serious risks to national security. He also added that if charged, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to the jury as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
The matter is now closed.
Biden fired back from the White House last night.
My memory is fine.
The special counsel claimed that during the president's 5-hour interview, he, quote, did not remember when he was vice president or when his son, Beau, died.
How in the hell dare he raise that? I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away.
Former President Trump, who faces federal charges regarding his own handling of classified documents, slammed the decision not to charge Biden as, quote, a two-tiered system of justice and selective prosecution. Yesterday, President Biden also took questions on the Israel-Hamas conflict.
The response in the Gaza Strip has been over the top.
At one point, he referred to the leader of Egypt as the president of Mexico, while leveling sharp criticism at Israel. Michael George, CBS News.
The EPA will host the first of 2 meetings today after lead toxins were discovered at a school playground and at more than 100 properties in Trenton. It'll take place at Ulysses S. Grant Intermediate School from 4 until 6. The playground there has been closed after the city said above normal levels of lead were found in the grass and dirt behind the building last month. A second EPA meeting will be held on the 21st at 6:30, also at that school.